The last 24 hours I've received a lot of DMs about this specific car that we're going to redesign today. It's the same level as when Elon Musk introduced the Cybertruck, and the car I'm talking about is West Coast Customs Justin Bieber Royce Wraith. What do you think about that, Rosie? Is it a good design? Yeah, I know, it's pretty bad. Now you can clearly see where West Coast Customs has taken its inspiration for this build. It's of course the 2016 103EX Vision Next 100 concept from Rolls-Royce. So what I'm gonna do is talk about the front, the side, and the rear of this design and redesign all of them. I'm not gonna go in and just bash the design for no reason. I do appreciate the effort that went into building this, but when it comes to the design here, it's really bad, and I'm gonna show you exactly why. So let's start with the front view here. When I look at this car and when I see all of these new design elements that's been added to this car, the big problem is that none of these elements are playing together. So when you're making if you want to make a good design, you need to have all the parts play with each other. You can't have all the parts being separate, one in each corner, not talking to the other one, and then you have a different element being in a different corner and they're all separate, not communicating. That's not gonna work. The overall theme with West Coast Customs is not really my style, for the simple reason that I feel like they add more to their designs for no reason. It just makes the designs more complex than simplifying it and making it more beautiful. But that's the way they do things, and that's their style, so I totally respect it. But I want to show you what I would do to this. I'm not going to change anything fundamental. This is going to be changes that could have been made to these molds that they were using in this design. So for example, let's have a look at these two intakes here, right underneath the headlights. I don't understand this line right here or I don't understand this shape, because it doesn't play at all with the shape that's directly underneath it. There is no line flow whatsoever. So these are two separate part elements that don't play along together. They could be in two completely different parts of the car, or more accurately, in two different cars altogether. It doesn't seem like they belong in the same car. And also, what cheapens a design every single time it's done on a design is when you have parallel chamfers like this. You have the same kind of thickness on the chamfer. This is not something I'm going to change in this design right here, because I want to keep it pretty much close to what they were trying to do. Just add some more connection to the graphics in the front and the side and the rear. Parallel lines, simply put, always destroys the dynamics of a design, in my opinion. So what I gotta do here is to just connect these two shapes. I want to have some line flow. So we have this line going into this line, so all is good up until this point right here. Then if we continue this line, we can see that nothing goes on here, and then all of a sudden we have an opening that doesn't make sense because it's not connected to anything. This line doesn't connect to this part right here. This chamfer, this curvature here, which is also irregular, it's an irregular curvature, doesn't connect to anything up here, just crashes into this here. So I want to have more connection here. And also you see this part right here, this long chamfer that goes along this way right here. This doesn't connect to anything either, it just crashes into this place. So why not have that be connected to, for example, why not have it be connected like this? So we drag this piece down right here, connected to this piece, so we have this intake in the bottom be the same, in the same level on the side of the car. It starts at the same line there. So we drag this piece down here, connect it to the grille with this chamfer that we have here that has a weird angle that just clashes with everything in the front of the car. Why not bring this corner down to this point, and we have a connection to the grille? So we have one line stretches across the width of the car. Not only is that gonna look a lot better, it also suits Rolls-Royce, in my opinion, if you have horizontal lines in the front, because it's supposed to be a stately looking car. This looks like a cheap aftermarket product that someone just slapped onto the car, unfortunately, but we're gonna try and fix that right here. So let's move on to the side view here. Or actually, before we move on to the side view, there's one more thing I want to change here, and that is this very thin line right here. This thickness here, it needs to be thicker, because we need to have some structure in the front here, specifically up top underneath the headlight. We need to build this up. This can't be this thin. We need to have it be something like this and then connect to this part right here. So we have the new intake down here and then the second intake going something like this to build some strength in the front. It looks very weak with all these tiny, small, thin pieces that we have all around the car here. We need to build it up a little bit and create some connection to the rest of the elements. Let's have a look at side view. The side view is the view that I like the most of this car, because we do have some nice line flow going here. We have this long shoulder line, which I'm super happy that they did not mess with, because if you mess with a shoulder line of a Rolls Royce, it's not going to work, because that is a very important part of the car itself. But what I don't like about this side view here is this irregular lines, irregular curvatures and radiuses. This is a recurring theme in this specific product right here, and that cheapens the overall feeling that you get for the car. You have one radius right here, then you have a different kind of radius here and a different here, so everything is just mixed together with no, it doesn't feel like it has a continuity to it. So if you look at this, for example, I would love to have this radius right here be the same radius as this here, so we have the continuity there. But this feels like it's sharper than this, not something that I'm going to change here. But what I do want to change is this line curvature that goes here. Just boom, just stretch it up there, and you have the same kind of sharpness in the line. You can see that it even becomes deeper the higher it goes, when it should be the opposite. It should be the deepest down here and then fade out slowly as it reaches the top. So it's inverted there. So what we need to do is fade this out. We want to have it kind of end here, so we just want to have it be stretched out a little bit further back and then up and end at this point right here, and create more of a, it needs to have a little bit more definition in this curvature right here, because this curvature starts right at the door gap and then kind of decides to go curve a little bit, and then it just decides to curve a little bit more. It needs to be more of a confident curvature there, and then fade this out as we go up top right here. And now let's have a look at this, at the final view right here, which is the rear view. And this is where things get really interesting, because this taillight here, it just doesn't fit anything on this car. I have no idea why they put this. It clashes in this corner with this line here. It clashes up here. It has no connection to the shoulder line whatsoever. And then you have another one of these less confident lines that goes here. Like a line that doesn't know what it wants to be. Does it want to be a curvature? Does it want to be a straight line and then a curvature? I don't know. So what we need to do is redesign this taillight, have it be more Rolls Royce. You have to keep in mind that this is a Rolls. It needs to have squares, sharp lines, and be confident in the line work. And that's what's totally lacking with this design. So what I want to do is just make this line something like this. Curvature like this, have the same kind of radius here as we have up here, so we have the continuity flow from the shoulder line into the rear graphics. And then we can maybe play around with this ending here. Maybe you can have it follow the trunk lid like this or something like that, or maybe have it just fade out like that. I don't know, we have to play around and see. And also this taillights needs to be totally redesigned to fit this new chamfer that we have at the bottom, and also fit the overall Rolls-Royce theme. Because in the end, it's not even a Rolls-Royce theme, it is actually a Rolls-Royce. So we need to respect that and create the graphics and the elements to resemble that original design language. So with that said, you wanted my opinion on this Rolls-Royce, and that's what I've just given you. Now we're gonna go into the fun part, which is actually go in and redesign all of these parts, the front, the side, and the rear.